Hello and welcome back. This time we're going to take a look at an epic game for the Neo Geo. And that game is Samurai Shodown. Rated at 118 megs. Came out in 1993. Became a legendary series for the Neo Geo. With some controversy too. But we're not going to discuss that. This is the first entry in the series, but timeline-wise, by SNK, it's not. It is technically the second. Well, this is taking place in 1788, I believe. Samurai Shodown 5 was taking place in, I believe, 1786. And the story here revolves around one Amakusa who was leading a rebellion. He got captured. He was executed. But before he was getting executed, he made a deal with an evil entity called Ambrosia. And Ambrosia allowed him to be resurrected through Hanzo Hattori, one of the characters in the game, son, Shinzo. And basically coming back using that body to wreak havoc on the individuals who caused his death. So let's just get into it. Alright, basically the game's play is set up is not so focused on hand-to-hand combat, but more on sword play. So you have a light slash, a medium slash, a light kick, a medium kick, and you could do a hard slash, hard kick by pressing A and B or C and D to accomplish that. You also have a rage gauge, which when you get angrier, you can create more damage, etc. The rage gauge becomes more instrumental in later games, allowing to do super moves and all sorts of wild shit. The thing is here, it just creates more damage. You can also disarm your opponent by locking swords. That can be like a random thing, but you can also, if you are, if your sword is knocked out of your hands, you're not totally defenseless. You can actually, be able to catch the person's sword, your opponent's sword, if your timing is excellent. And by this motion, you'll be able to catch it in between your hands and toss the individual, creating pretty good damage to them. So, yeah. Okay, also another thing, too, about this game, like I said, everybody's got weapons in here, but this is the first game to feature, first fighting game to feature pets. And as you see, Galfred has his dog, Poppy. It's a female dog. And the thing is that, and they're not there just for, you know, kind of like a graphic aesthetic. They're there as usefulness. Like, the dog can be used to, you know, to attack. Was it Nakaruru has her eagle. So the thing is that, yeah, it's kind of cool. Also, if you notice, the blood is white. My AES cartridge is American version. The system I'm playing on is set to American version. Now, if you go to the dip switch, you can enable the red blood. So at least I can have the blood in here. But when I had this 20 some odd years ago, that was kind of disappointing. So, you know, you're spending, you know, I didn't spend $200 for the cart, but I got it used, but I still spent over $100 on a cart that technically was incomplete, because that was during that whole Mortal Kombat Night Trap bullshit that Lieberman and all them were trying to have changed with the censorship in video games and all that back in the 90s. So, and then, yeah, that nonsense. So you can still accomplish it via that, or you would have to have a Japanese system if you have the American card. So, sorry, it's just the way the game goes. No pun intended. But, as you can see, the graphics are beautiful. The characters are very well drawn, very detailed. As the games went later on, they became even more detailed, larger, etc. Very much kind of like the King of Fighters series. Some of them have destructible environments, as you saw. Like, you can break the barrels, you can break chandeliers, all sorts of wild shit. And the thing is that the one thing this takes from other Neo Geo games, is especially Art of Fighting, is to scale in the zoom in, zoom out feature with the camera, which definitely really works for this game. Because when it zooms out, you can see more of the background, you know, as you see at the top, the curtain. That's really cool. So it adds to the game. Now, let's just go into music, because the graphics, like I said, are outstanding. Tons of animation, whole bunch of shit going on. Outstanding game. So the music is a wide variety. So you have things that are, let's say, infused with rock, such as Earthquake Stage. Very outstanding question. Then you have a lot of stages that might only have the ambiance of the environment, with maybe some Japanese horns or, you know, traditional Japanese instruments. Outstanding. It really, really adds to the flavor of the game. It's just a beautiful, beautiful soundtrack, and I have yet to get it. So it's just a pleasure to listen to, because in the arcade, I remember just putting my ear close to the machine because of how outstanding the soundtrack is. So yeah. What else can I say? Gameplay-wise, like I said, the setup is very much, in a sense, like a Street Fighter, but it doesn't play like a Street Fighter. The game isn't combo-based. It's more of, strikes. See who can get out the fastest slash. And, it can be, a little tricky. If you know your character, it's not too bad. But it's a different style of gameplay compared to Street Fighter. And that's what set this game apart from Street Fighter, because of that. Now, some might be turned off because there's a limited amount of combos. You can do a couple, but really that's not the focus, it's just strikes. And how fast you can get them out, and the damage, because depending upon the character, and especially in the air, if you hit somebody with a hard slash, they're going to take more damage than they would be on the ground. So it tries to play a little bit on realism and all. So it could turn off a few people, but I mean, most people enjoyed it because it was just a well-made game, and it's pretty decent. The gameplay's actually pretty good. The moves, for the most part, are pretty. It controls pretty well. Now, the only fault, I guess you can maybe kind of fault, because of the limited amount of combos you can do when it's mostly on strikes. I mean, there is a strategy involved, but it might turn off a few people because, like I said, it's limited. Another thing I do feel is a big fault in this game, you'll get it every so often, is hit detection issues. I don't know if a lot of people mention that, but over the past 20 plus years that I've been playing this game, I've had issues with it. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen enough that it is recognizable or noticeable. So, yeah. And the next thing is the AI. Remember, this is an arcade game. It is meant to take your quarters. The AI can be very, very brutal. Being able to hit you or throw you at a certain point that you cannot do. So, yeah, that can be pretty shitty. And the timing is just much better than yours. So that's the only thing that's kind of bad. So you have to play a lot of keep away, which can be very annoying, rather than using actual strategy like you would with a human opponent. So yeah, that can be quite annoying. Like right here, I'm going to lose this round, because unless I hit her with a punch slash. So that can be quite annoying, because you have to play a lot of keep away with some of the characters. But all in all, it's still a great game, and it still looks pretty good for today. And so do I recommend it? Absolutely. I would kind of stay away from the console versions, like the early ones, like the 16-bit ones. The Genesis one wasn't bad, believe it or not. Super Nintendo one wasn't that great. I had them both. So, I would stay away from them. The 3DO version was plagued with a lot of problems. It just wasn't as good as Neo Geo. It just tried. I mean, it had all the characters and all, but it was just missing too much. It just couldn't really handle the game. And it shows you how strong the Neo Geo is, that those systems were technically more powerful than the Neo Geo, and it could just not hold it. Damn, she threw me. So, the thing is that find it on the what do you call it, the Samurai Anthology, Samurai Shodown Anthology, you know, the SNK Classics Volume 1. That's the best place to check this game out, and it's on all the virtual whatever. Take my word, there isn't any place you can't find Samurai Shodown. Also, there's bonus stages in the game, which are kind of pointless, because fighting games for the day had a lot of bonus games, and the only one who really had entertaining bonus games, to be honest, was Street Fighter. Let's just be honest, they were the most entertaining. Whereas is that these aren't. But they added them in because that was what was, at the time, it was popular. So, why not capitalize on it, correct? So, yeah. So definitely check the game out. It's definitely worth a play. Of course, the later games were better, especially the second one, which is like kind of revealed or considered by many the pinnacle. But you always got to go based on the humble beginnings of the first game. And this one really set it off as an excellent game. It's just a pure joy to play. I do recommend everybody checking the game out. If you can find it for the AES, it shouldn't be that expensive. And for the MVS, it definitely shouldn't be expensive. Go for it, because it's just an outstanding game overall. And like I said, it's just a timeless classic that it shows you the roots of fighting games. And it shows you the originality of SNK and how, even though they were on the fighting game craze, they try to make things original. And you got to give them credit for that, especially making the first weapon-based fighter. Most people consider the, what do you call that? The Soul Calibers and all that. But nope, you would not have that without this game. And that's something you have to respect. So, to that, I'm going to leave you a little bit more gameplay, and I'm out of here. Alright, thanks for checking it out. Have a great day. Take care.